We had actually talked when we knew you were going to be on the show. One of the questions we had put on there was, is it more stressful to go to the ring or to the octagon or sing the seventh inning stretch?
Seventh inning stretch, without a doubt.
A guy who made his career, cut his teeth on the microphone with the personality. I mean, you weren't singing a lot in the ring, I imagine, but
No, I mean, at the end, I was pretty much so bored that I would sing. I would sing a lot. Yeah.
How great is this for you? You're someone that, there are a lot of fans that, and celebrity fans that, they come around when October hits. They were there in 03 and they were there in 07 and 08. This is you. Like, this is not a bit. This is not a work. This is who you are as far as being a Cub fan. So how satisfying is it to see the Cubs where they're at?
Yeah, I'm not sure there's a whole lot of people who would claim to be Cubs fans for so many years, but yeah, I think I'm definitely one of them. It's just the way I grew up. My dad always had the Cubs on TV. I was born on the South Side. I grew up in Lockport, so everyone's always like, "Why do you like the Cubs?" And that's just what was on. So for me, this is amazing. I'm like a kid in a candy store. And on top of just being a lifelong Cubs fan, I'm a baseball fan. And it's really enjoyable to watch this team play ball. They play baseball for the first time, and I can only compare it to situations I've seen in the past where Madden will pull a pitcher and I'll be like, oh, they would have kept that guy in for like 2 more innings. You know what I mean? They didn't want to hurt his feelings, so they just would have left him in. But, like Madden just has such a feel for the game and this team, and it's amazing to watch. It's so fun.
Does it feel different? Because a lot of times when we talk about the Cubs overall, we're talking about sadness and nostalgia and despair. I know, having lived my whole life in Chicago, to me, it feels like this team feels different, and people's reaction to this team feels very different than in the past. Is that a fair assessment?
Sure. It feels different to me. And I think, and not to discredit anybody who's ever played on the Cubs, management team, anybody who ever, got hit by a pitch or threw a ball or anything, but this team feels different to me. Prior to this, I think any good fortune that came the Cubs' way almost felt like dumb luck. And it went both ways, and people blame curses and these silly little things for, ruining Cubs winning seasons or a good showing. But I just think this time it's just like, it's stellar baseball playing. I mean, we got so many good position players, and they're all like, I don't even know if they're going to legally drink, So it bodes well for the future of the team.
That scares a Cardinals fan. I mean, if you just objective.
You guys are all hands on deck today.
It is. I mean, John Lackey,
on
3
short
days rest.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're down to right
now.
We got 2 guys, I think, that can hit, whereas you guys got 7 up and down the order that can do damage. So it is a little frightening. The Cardinals, though, do have that experience. I'll bank on that, but obviously there's so much talent in Chicago. It's got to be fun to see a team knowing that this isn't a little window that's open for like a year or 2. As a Cub fan who has suffered for so long, you're looking forward to a decade plus of really good contending ball.
Knock on wood.
Yeah,
I hope. And, I think with Theo in place, I think he's still securing the future of the Cubs organization, signing international players that are, amazing already. And, they're all 20, 19, 21, things like that. So I think that's what they have in common with the Blackhawks. They look forward so much that they build up like their stockpile of young talent, and it's almost they have abundance of it now all of a sudden.
When you're watching these guys, and you brought up the young guys of this team, do you have a favorite? Is there a guy you say, that's my guy, or when you knew they were calling this player up or this player up, you're saying that's the guy that's going to hit for them?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and it's a really hard question to answer.
It's like picking your favorite sibling or something?
I mean, you go, I love Anthony Rizzo. I do a lot of charity stuff with the Cubs every year, and Rizzo is always just like a big teddy bear, sweetheart, nice guy. I'm partial to catchers, though, because when I played ball when I was a kid, I was a catcher. So I'm a big fan of Ross. I like Miggy. I really like Schwarber. I mean, that guy can just he made it to like third base the other day on like somebody's base hit, and like he doesn't look like a guy who can make it to third base, So everybody hustles. I like the guys that even if they know they're grounding out, they still hustle. They run through the baseline, and
respect 90, right? Is that Joe Madden's the message? Respect 90.
Yeah, I can't single out one person. Chris Bryant, Baez, Addison Russell, who I hope is okay. Do we got any?
There's going to be another test on him this morning. We should find something out. How about how feelings have turned around with Starlin Castro?
Yeah. I mean, and that's I think that's such a great story. Maybe he got a little lazy. Maybe he, I'm not sure. It's hard to say. But yeah, he's really picked up his game. Lost his job and then got another one, and he's been playing his ass off.
Yeah, it seems like every time there's a Cardinal pitcher on the mound, he turns into Cal Ripken or some iteration of that in the middle of the infield. He just absolutely murders us. CM, you said you played a little bit of ball when you were younger, a little catcher. If you were to be a Chicago Cub, if you hadn't gone the wrestling route, if you'd been an excellent baseball talent and got to the major leagues and you got to play for the Cubs, you're on this roster. What would your role be? Would you be the big teddy bear of the Anthony Rizzo? Would you be a guy who kind of starts some things with the other squad?
I think I was the only kid who had the distinction of being thrown out of Little League games. So I don't know if I would be a teddy bear. I took things probably way too seriously. Blocking home plate without the ball. Like I was just, it got a little intense, I don't know. I'd make a really swell bat boy at this point, I think.
Well, since you're someone who, beyond wrestling, now you're moving into fighting MMA, and beyond that, you pen comic books.
Yeah.
The Thor Annual, by the way, I read it. I'm a big comic book guy. I thought it was phenomenal.
Thank you.
Question. This has been kind of something that my friends and I have been discussing. Kyle Schwarber, does he kind of look like Ben Grimm?
Sure. We could paint him orange, and the resemblance would be uncanny, I think. Absolutely.
I've been trying to figure out what his superhero face is, and it does, because he's just a big dude, but he's still mobile, can still run a little bit.
Doesn't look like he should go first to third.
Stand up. Made it to third.
But that barrel, that fire hydrant body can get around the base paths.
Yeah. What's it been like doing stuff with Marvel?
Oh, it's been super awesome. Yeah. I never wrote a comic book in my life, and they just kind of asked me if I wanted to do it. So I got my feet wet with the Thor Annual. I wrote something for DC too, which I think is actually, we should talk about. It's pretty important. Kind of flew under the radar. It's a little 10-page story in an anthology called Strange Sports Stories. And I wrote it. It's kind of like my love letter to the Chicago Cubs. So if anybody out there, if you can find that, I think it's in issue 3. Find that and read it. It's pretty funny the way things happen and how I wrote it and the way things have kind of unfolded. It's pretty remarkable.
Art's imitating life a little bit.
A little bit.
How about that?
That's outstanding. What's your favorite memory of being a Cubs fan from when you were younger? Was it a game that you went to or maybe listened to or watched with your family?
The Cubs were just always on. My dad would be asleep in the recliner, and I dare not change the channel. So, the soundtrack to my youth was almost Steve Stone and Harry Carey, So, and it's cool to watch these guys play, and you can't help but think, man, it'd be great if Harry was here so he could mispronounce Baez and Miguel Montero. It's you know what I mean? Like it'd be a trip just to hear him just butcher. He'd probably butcher Rizzo somehow. You never know.
Do you think that I like what they did yesterday? You had Sandberg throw out the first pitch.
Yes.
They went with Ernie Banks, a recording of Ernie Banks. I feel like a recording of Harry is coming tonight.
It should be.
That's how I feel. But that instead of even bringing in Punk, who's obviously in town, and having him do it,
you don't want to sing the stretch for an important game like this. It's just too much. It's just too much pressure. It's just too much.
When you're watching games, what's it like for you now? Yesterday they showed Eddie Vedder in the box with Jed Hoyer and Theo Epstein, and he was just like going insane. Is this one of those things that you want to share, or is this one of those things where you want to be in your house on your recliner, kind of watching it by yourself because you might need to say some 4 or 12-letter words, depending on what goes on in the game?
No, I got to share this. I had the choice, as a lot of Chicagoans did last Wednesday. It was like go to the Hawks home opener and see the banner get raised, or support the Cubs in Pittsburgh. And I'm fortunately at a point in my life where I can just kind of drop things and fly to another city to watch my team. And I did that. And I got 2 tickets, and I got one from my friend Cole Cabana. And then he looked at flights and he was like, I can't justify this. And I was like, listen, man, this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity, you know, and I can't go by myself.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to bum me out. You have to come so I can grab somebody and, you know, we're going to be in enemy territory. I need you. And then he used his flyer miles and he came with me. So it's cool to share it. It's cool to share it with fans. You know, being at Wrigley, everybody's high-fiving and everything like that. I actually brought my buddy Anthony with me yesterday, and he is a
Cardinal?
true blue Cardinals
Supporter,
fan.
huh?
And I just, you know, he's on tour. He had a day off, and he was like, yeah, okay, I'll come. And he came, and he was very, very upset, and I've enjoyed it.
Would it mean more to you that they be going through the Cardinals?
I think it means more to everybody that they're going through the Cardinals. And I think we knew it was going to happen. You know, I know I can hear Len Casper echo in my head saying, you know, that last, you know, season game where we played the Cardinals, and he was like, I don't think this is the last time we're going to see them this year. You know, and it turns out here we are, you know. And it'd be nice to get it done here at home tonight.
You don't want to go back to St. Louis.
No.
Weird stuff happens. But the good thing is, got John Lester in the holster in case you
He's
need
ready.
him.
In case you need him. Yeah. Listen, like I said, a little scared of the Cubs, what they've already become, and what is waiting on the other side. But
What's going on with Wainwright?
well,
I mean, that's a hell of a story, you know, ruptured
to get
Achilles.
back, I think, in the first place is commendable.
Yeah.
Threw a 90-mile-per-hour get-me-over fastball and he got deposited.
Exactly. He's clearly
First
not quite the
pitch.
same, but he's the best that they got. I mean,
Yeah.
they're kind of, like we were talking about earlier, Lawrence, they're a little depleted with the injuries they've dealt with. The fact that they've won 100 games is commendable, but right now I just think the Cubs are a better team, a better roster based on
I think
who's
the Cards
available.
are beat up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Molina's
So,
thumb, like everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
is-
it actually, like when you're watching, because I think Molina, I love watching him.
Yeah.
And seeing him yesterday, he takes that swing, and you're like, man, this guy is out there fighting through some stuff.
Yeah,
like,
we were
that was
watching
hard.
him. Every time he swung, he took that hand off the bat. So he was just like almost like a lame duck up there.
And I didn't know this until I read the Post-Dispatch this morning, but they actually have ordered special bats for him. It's not a traditional handle. It's actually crafted a little bit like they call an axe handle. Imagine an axe handle
So he can
to
grip it.
alleviate some pressure.
Wow.
So they had to order and overnight these special bats from Molina, and he still is having trouble holding on to them.
What made you decide that you wanted to leave the wrestling ring and go to the octagon?
It's just something I always wanted to do. And, you know, you're not really afforded too many hobbies when you're on the road like I was. And the schedule is so brutal. And I did it for almost 10 years with WWE, and I did it for almost 10 years to get there. So, you know, I had a career. And I'm somebody who is very goal-oriented, and I kind of get bored and stagnant pretty easy. So it was time for me to move on, and I moved on. And, you know, I'm inspired every day by the people who tell me what I can't do. I'm that guy. You know, tell me I can't do something, and I'll go do it.
What new challenges are presented when training for mixed martial arts versus training for professional wrestling?
It's just the skill, retaining knowledge and learning new things every day, I think. I'm no stranger to hard work, and I'm not afraid of it. So I can be in there every day working my butt off and just drilling. But it's just, you know, my learning curve's pretty huge. You know, I'm just trying to learn as much as I can and also retain that information. And when in live sparring situations, you know, you got to know what to do and react the right way.
Well, I was in Chicago this past Monday. Do you ever miss it? Because I know that fans miss you.
Yeah.
I do not. I see fans every day. You know, I see fans when I'm walking my dog. And so I still have that aspect. And some situations are great and they're friendly and they're great and they're cool, and some aren't so. Some aren't so nice. If you see me, just say hi. You know, I'm a human being. Let's have a nice conversation. You don't want a selfie with me with food in my mouth. And, you know, it's not good. That's not good for anybody. Also, my dog might try to eat you, so beware of that. I don't really miss it. It's not the greatest relationship right now, obviously, you know.
Is there, pardon the wrestling term, is there a heel in particular, like you said, you want to prove people wrong, those that doubt you? And I'm sure there are many, maybe even in the industry you're leaving, that doubt you can make a successful transition. Is there anyone there that you want to prove wrong especially?
You know, when it comes to that, I just think it's the general percentage of people who are like, oh, you can't do it. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're old. Oh, you're not athletic. Oh, you're you're ugly. Like whatever people's perception
they're
of
cling
me
to.
is, to me, those are the people that they don't know me. And, I'm doing this for myself. This is like probably the most selfish thing I've ever done. You know what I mean? Like this is for me 100%. I've been afforded this amazing opportunity and I'm not letting it slip through my fingers.
Wrestler, author, creator, fighter, Cub fan,
I'm a lover too.
lover, dog
Lover and a
owner,
fighter.
Love
and
my
someone
dog.
who gives of himself for charity. CM Punk, thanks for joining us this
Absolutely.
morning. Good. Are you going to be at Wrigley today?
Yeah, I am. That's actually, I reference why I'm wearing 87 layers and I look like a bum is this was kind of set up last minute and hurt my shoulder. So I can't train the way I need to, but I can still do stuff. So I've been trying to bike like 20, 30 miles a day.
Nice.
And
I was gonna say, it looks like you're about to run there.
yeah, I biked here. They told me, "Oh, we need you in makeup," and I was like, "Why not? Sure, why not?" So I'm gonna, as soon as I'm done here, jump right back on my bike and
Awesome.
finish my bike ride.
Right on. We appreciate you stopping by. This guy is unbelievable. Follow him at CM Punk on Twitter if you want, and he will definitely be watching the Cubs and cheering for him, as you can see by his shirt. And I give him a lot of props because he's surrounded by a Cardinal fan and a White Sox fan, and he came in here and did the interview anyway.
I didn't know that. I
You can
didn't know
beat
he
both
was
of
a
us up,
Sox
Lauren.
fan.
If Lauren said
I
we're
didn't know.
talking.
I didn't know he was a Sox fan. I feel taken advantage of now. I'll be there today, so if you see me at the game, wave, say hi.